Can you change your personality? How does peer pressure work? Should you ever really trust your gut? These are just a few of the topics we've recently tackled on my podcast, Something You Should Know. It's a podcast where leading experts give you valuable intel that you can use in your life today. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and with over 1,000 episodes and over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews, I invite you to check out Something You Should Know, wherever you listen.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
Have you heard of Olivia, the travel company for lesbians and LGBTQ plus women? You know what they say, life is short and the world is wide. And when you're a lesbian or LGBTQ plus woman, you want to be able to go on vacation, have some fun, feel safe, and be yourself. Olivia Travel creates full takeovers of their cruise, resort, riverboat, and adventure vacations so you can kiss who you want to kiss without a care in the world in your own safe space. Olivia also provides the entertainment, bringing comedians and musicians from within your community. Traveling by yourself? No problem. Olivia has a robust solos program so you can travel alone, together. Single, coupled up, or in a group, you'll meet amazing LGBTQ plus women who come from all walks of life, yet have so much in common. Join the thousands of Olivians who travel to bucket list destinations all over the world. It's life-changing to be in the majority on your own vacation. Discover Olivia for yourself at olivia.com today.
Lez Hang Out. Lez Hang Out. And let's talk about what Lez is about. And let's listen to two lesbians shout. Lez Hang Out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Lez Hang Out. I'm Ellie Brigida.
And I'm Leigh Holmes Foster, and here's what's happening this week.
This week in the Lesdom.
This Week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. This season, we are still releasing our Patreon bonus episodes. You can listen to our latest episode on Amelia Perez at bit.ly/lespatreon. It was a banger.
We had some thoughts.
Some thoughts.
Also, we want to remind you that we are going to France almost exactly a year from now. So if you need some time to make those plans, get your plane tickets, you can sign up. We already have some sign-ups that have come rolling in. So we do have a limited number of spots. We are going to be going to Paris and Bordeaux on March 25th to 31st, 2026. And you can join us at bit.ly/LesDoFrance.
Cannot wait. In the Greater Les universe, I don't know what March Madness is, Leigh, so I'm going to do Lena Waithe. In the Greater Les universe, Lena Waithe just joined Grey's Anatomy, making it gayer and gayer and gayer, as a lesbian doctor. So here for it. Please give us more gays on Grey's Anatomy.
Incredible. Also happening in the Greater Les universe, we know that you women's basketball fans, March Madness is kicking off. So to all of you making your brackets, we wish you the best, the blessings of the goddess upon you and your teams. Ellie and I, not basketball gays, so we have literally no stakes. Here. We don't go here. We're just rooting for all of you. That's all. We're rooting for all the gays.
We're rooting for the gays.
I need you to know about this article that I just read, Ellie. So there's a game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like a phone game. It's called Blabun.
Great.
I know very little about this game, but what I do love is I just read this article about how they essentially trolled all of their like straight players. And what happened is they added a setting that's like an optional setting, and it's called a lesbian toggle. And so you can toggle on this setting that allows you to eliminate all of the lesbian content in the game. Okay. So if you're like, you know, a say just like a bigoted asshole or whatever, and you're like, oh my god, yes, lesbian toggle, please remove all of the lesbian content in this game. What ends up happening is actually the protagonist in this video game that you are playing, who is named Stephanie, is a lesbian, and so it erases her from the game, and then you can't play it anymore.
Great.
So then they started getting all these angry reviews being like, why did you add this toggle? All it does is like break the game. And they're like, oh, so sorry. Like the game's actually not playable without a lesbian content.
That's incredible. I
And
like
I
the
just
pettiness of that shit so much.
It's very funny and I love them for it. So congrats.
Yes. Incredible.
That's what's happening. Back to you, Ellie and Leigh.
Thanks, Ellie and Leigh, and welcome to our 144th installment of Should Have Been Gay.
Oh, it was fun, it was great, but it should have been a little more gay.
And in this week's episode, what's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
What's the buzz?
Tell me what's
happening? I wasn't sure where you were going to go with this.
The problem is I would
Every
have
song
done
hits.
Hosanna, Hosanna, but we already did it for something else. I can't remember what I sang
Yeah.
it for. Maybe Save.
Yeah, probably.
I know. It's there's a lot of options.
Where
There's
are
a
you?
lot
What
of
are you
options.
fighting for? So good. So good.
We are also joined by two very special return guests, friends of
Yay.
the pod. I'm going to say it every time. We have Lisa Charlotte, we have Alyse Knorr, the team behind Sweetbitter, an investigative history podcast with a focus on women and LGBTQIA plus histories. Oh my gosh, you two, welcome back. Hello.
It has
Hi.
been way too long. Hi.
So
It has been a long
excited.
time, hasn't it?
I know. I just feel like the names all together is perfect. I don't remember the order, but
Agreed.
it's just the most
I know.
ridiculous
I don't know
combination
what we
of
had
names ever.
decided, right? It was like Alyse. I feel like rolls right.
Alyse.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's very good. And also, this particular season of Sweetbitter is all about Christianity. So I feel like this particular story is apt. And
Yes,
the second half
yeah.
of the season is going to be about Mary Magdalene.
Specifically, yes, perfect.
So
Hot.
we got some good shit.
And
This is perfect.
Love it.
I've heard Lisa say so many times while we've recorded our podcast, like, well, in Jesus Christ Superstar, this is what. This is
Yes. In terms of like knowledge of Christianity,
That's
it's
pretty
like,
much where
well,
most
if
of
it
mine
happened
comes
in
from.
Jesus Christ Superstar, then
like
I
I'll
know.
be like in Matthew chapter 9, verse 1 through, and Lisa's like, yeah, but in Jesus Christ Superstar. It's epic.
Do you know what's funny?
Oh, what is it? It's pretty. Is it accurate? Is it accurate? Is
Honestly,
it not
same.
accurate?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, right? It feels like it's pretty accurate. And to be fair on myself, it is not my fault that my atheist family watches this movie every year and is so obsessed with it. Like, we all know it by heart.
I feel like the majority of the audience for Jesus Christ Superstar is atheists.
It was signed off on by the Pope, though.
And Todd Neely, who's the lead, he is very religious. He plays Jesus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was like, I was so excited to play the role because I like really like felt like it was a really like beautiful Christian experience.
Wow. I have so many thoughts already that I don't even know what
The Pope,
to do with
the Pope
them.
loved this movie. The Pope
He
at the
did.
time was like, this shit rocks.
I wrote the quote
Yeah,
from him.
That feels right.
He said, "Not only do I appreciate your beautiful rock opera film, I believe it will bring more people around the world to Christianity than anything has ever before." And then he also said, "Yes,
Not the
Including Jesus? Okay.
I
Hot
want to
take
meet.
from the
I want to meet all the people who are like, well, I was an atheist, but then I
But
saw
then-
Jesus Christ Superstar, and it totally
and I
changed
felt
my
the
mind.
power of the Lord.
Listen,
That's what
can
did
I
it
tell
for
you?
me. That was my.
Can I tell you what's so funny is I feel like watching this movie made me less Christian, like distinctly less Christian. Okay, it's a hard watch. It's a hard watch for me.
had you
That's
seen
so
it before,
funny.
Lee?"
Wait, no. Let's get
we
it.
gotta-
Okay,
sorry,
let's
we
get
gotta-
into
yeah,
it.
IMDb synopsis.
We are going to be diving into the hot 1973 Pope approved classic of Jesus Christ Superstar. IMDb synopsis as follows. Film version of the musical stage play presenting the last few weeks of Christ's life told in an anachronistic manner. Okay, now, gay synopses. Lisa, should we start with you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's already pretty gay, so I kind of just wrote it different. Gay synopsis. This is mine. Okay, a group of hippies takes a bus to the desert to tell the story of Jesus, his boyfriend, his beard, and 11 other followers as they battle it out with a bunch of leather daddies and queens. Also, it's a
Yes.
musical.
Hot.
Done.
Yes.
Didn't change a
Incredible.
thing. Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
Alyse, gay synopsis, go.
What if the entire story of Jesus' crucifixion, upon which the Christian religion is founded upon, was really just about Judas having a crush on Jesus.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
100%.
Yes.
Okay, Ellie.
Okay.
Case synopsis.
Here we go. Have you ever been so gay you needed to kill your best friend? This is Judas and Jesus' love story.
Incredible. Incredible. Okay. I went with my gay synopsis is truly revolutionary of the village people to drive out to the desert and film a musical where Jesus is the bad guy? Question mark.
Wow.
Ellie's already crying. We're doing great. We're doing so good.
I'm just having flashbacks to these hippies in the desert.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a lot.
God.
It's a whole lot.
So wait, had none of you seen the movie?
I had not.
I never saw it.
Tell us, okay.
Yeah.
Our next section is tell us your experience. So I feel like we should start with you again, Lisa, because you seem to be the only one with any experience with this movie.
You know, okay, so it's funny because I was just with my family in Raleigh and my brother's partner had this conversation with us because, so I was raised by like my dad and my uncle who were like in their early 20s and are like, you know, we're pretty, like, so they're pretty young. And my dad and my uncle are like obsessed with this musical. So like I listened to this like my entire childhood. I watch this movie every year at Easter. It's like this really big part of my family. I can sing the entire thing from start to finish. I have it on vinyl, like the original 1970 recording. Anyway, I never really thought about what it would be to watch this film for the first time as an adult. And then my brother's partner was like, she'd like done this whole deep dive and like, how did this get produced? Like, she'd like, obviously you kind of have to watch it if you like associate with my family on a regular basis because like sometimes at Christmas we'll just sing the whole thing from start to finish. And she was just like, how the fuck did this happen? Like, can you imagine the pitch? Which I guess works in the 70s and the Pope liked it. So yeah, so this is like my family, if there was like a family musical, I guess this would be it. I Don't Know How to Love Him, which, by the way, the Pope said had inspired Beauty. That is like one of the first songs I sang. Like I have watched this movie my whole life. And like I was watching it again today and I was like, it's not really a wonder that I'm so eccentric because my entire childhood is like this and like Frank Zappa and like, you know,
explains a lot.
Monty Python. It's like, I'm just, the fact that I'm weird explains a lot. Yeah. So, I'm glad you've all shared in this experience.
I've never seen this, the movie. I've never seen a staged version of the musical. I mean, Ellie and I talk all the time, like, we're theater kids, right? So I'm like, I knew a lot of the music. Like, I knew, like, Hosanna. I actually also used to use I Don't Know How to Love Him as an audition song when I was, like, in high school and stuff. So it's like I knew a lot of the songs from it. I don't think I've ever paid too much attention to some of the other stuff in it. I've certainly never seen this experience.
And you'll never see anything like it again.
And I want you to know that I watch a lot of my should have been gays that I either don't have like I'm running short on time or I don't assume that Kelsey wants to be, you know, dragged through everything I have to watch for this podcast. So I watch a lot of things on Bart these days. So in case you're wondering, the best way to experience 1973 classic film Jesus Christ Superstar, it is for sure on a train where anyone looking over your shoulder is just like, who is this crazy screaming Jesus figure and why are there so many writhing leather-clad men around him?
I forgot about the leather-clad men.
I think is the correct way to watch this movie.
Caiaphas came on the screen and I was like,
There's so much.
Caiaphas is like the dancer at the gay bar.
Yeah.
It's also like way too many tenors to be straight.
It's that one. That one is a lot. He's got something.
Yes, he's giving Mitch from Pentatonics. Yeah. Yeah.
Alyse, tell us about your experience with Jesus Christ Superstar.
I had never seen this movie before, and I felt like the Jesus movie I saw growing up was like I saw Life of Brian, and I saw The Passion of the Christ starring Mel Gibson, and I think for some
two
reason,
very similar films.
Honestly,
so
if
similar.
you combine
same
those
thing.
two,
same.
that
They're the same picture. That JK.
Yeah. No, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So the people I grew up with, like the kids
Their
that,
love
the kids I went to high school with, when you went to see The Passion of the Christ, there was kind of like an unspoken competition about who would cry sincerely the most, like who was like the biggest Jesus freak. And
where'd you go to high school?
I went
was
to
it
the
with
same-
Andy Moore and Saved, or
I went to the same high school as Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Wow.
Yeah, just to get
Marjorie Taylor Greene probably fucking loves this movie. Can we
Probably.
just throw that out there? I bet she does.
Oh, yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to fuck Jesus in this movie.
I mean, so do I.
so does Judas.
Yeah.
Lisa taking an incredibly badly timed sip of water.
The way that I didn't spit that out, that was
wasn't
very
incredible.
thankful. I cannot afford to replace my equipment.
I think for whatever reason, I kind of thought that this movie was going to be more like Life of Brian. Like, I thought it would be, for whatever reason, I just had the impression that it was going to be like intentionally campy or satirical in some way. But it takes itself so seriously that I was shocked. And I was shocked. Can we just get this out of the way? I was shocked at how just bad it is. It's just a very poor movie.
Yeah,
Alyse, how dare you say that about one of my favorite
I'm
films
sorry.
of all time?
I don't know.
Say more, Alyse.
I might argue with you on that one, but continue.
Just the
No,
alignment
I'll fight
of
with
the
you.
lip syncing alone, I was like, and so I was watching it with my wife who grew up with the CDs because she grew up in a very religious household and she was only allowed to watch like religious media. So she knew all these songs and she was like laughing at me because she was like, I think it makes more sense when you see it on Broadway. But then I looked it up and it was like, before the movie, it was tanking on Broadway. Like the reviews were catastrophically bad and it was like losing a bunch of money. But they still were like, let's just make the movie though. That'll be fine. And
And you know what? It was a good move. They
Okay, so we've got two camps
They
here.
resurrected Jesus Christ Superstar.
And I need to say one more
This
thing about
film.
I need to say one more thing about
Is
watching it
this
with
movie God? Is what we're bringing up
If
here.
you're wondering how Jesus came back from
I
the
was
dead,
watching it with my
by
wife
filming
and
this movie.
But my wife has like a deviating pupil. I forget what we call it, what the like politically correct way to say this is. But the reason this matters is because while I was watching the movie, I was like, does Jesus have a lazy eye? Like I was looking at it and I was like, I think Jesus has a lazy eye. And I kept looking at it and my wife was like, you can't call it that. And I was like, oh, what do we call it? And she was like, you have to call it like an undermotivated eye.
Great.
And yes, he does.
But he does.
Yeah.
But no, can I just say though, you're so right because it's a hard jump to go from having watched Wicked a few weeks ago to this.
I was
movie.
thinking that so much during this.
And-
I was like,
And
if
no,
thi-
you
I
know
was
what
like,
it is?
It's for me. It's like best movie musicals ever. Wicked, Chicago, Jesus Christ Superstar.
I'm with
No.
you,
Oh,
Ellie.
no.
Come on.
Stop.
Absolutely
Here's
not.
okay. I'm gonna ignore that just happened.
my
And
God,
here's
Ellie,
the
we're
thing.
on the same page.
Here's the thing. That opening scene where it's like, first of all, the amount of like one scene fading to another scene, fading to a character that's overlapped on the desert to another someone's face, and it's zoomed in, and now there's a tree fading into the tree.
My favorite
amount
is
of
when
that that's
they
happening-
fade in the people dancing. They like flip into the
it's
screen.
a whole lot. Okay. But the thing is that's happening, and then that first, like, it's basically like someone behind you just like turned on like a boombox, right? Like the music comes in, and I was like, oh. I was like, oh, this is what it's going to be, isn't it? Like, there is never a time that I could convincingly believe that I was watching people sing. Because
Ted Neely didn't even try. Ted Neely didn't even try to look like he was
No.
actually lip syncing.
No,
He didn't even try.
the sound design was so laughably bad. And then what's funny is you can tell Ted Neely didn't try because of how many of the ends of his sentences you don't watch him sing. They just
to like pan out.
Yeah, they're like pan to his back of his head, and I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. So it wasn't even like possible to line those takes up, huh? Great. Like I just wanted in my head there was just like one dude with a little boombox on the set, just like playing the soundtrack for everyone, and then they actually just used that audio from
And muted everything else. Yeah,
That's probably how they did it, honestly.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm so sure.
after watching the behind the scenes of Wicked, it was very similar, I think.
Yeah, but guys, fuck this shit because it's not about the times. The Sound of Music came out in 1965 and it was glorious and perfection. And they lined up their shit.
Bad.
They got 5-year-olds to lip sync better in that shit than they had Ted Neely doing in this movie. And he was nominated for a Golden Globe for it.
Yeah.
Because he crushed.
Ellie, hit us. What was
Okay,
your
sorry,
experience with the best movie ever? The
Ever.
third best movie musical in history.
Here's the thing. I feel as though I have seen it before, but when I watched it earlier today, I could not remember a thing. So, like, if I've seen it,
That's PTSD
Yeah.
from watching
Block it out. Block it out.
That's your brain protecting itself from trauma.
Yeah.
exactly. I had flashbacks, and I was like, "Oh no!" But it's ridiculous. It's like these people take themselves so seriously, and that's theater.
It is.
They're committed.
I love it.
It is okay. Listen, you're right about one thing. It is theater in the sense that, like, this, if you told me a group of like high school theater students got the record to Jesus Christ Superstar and went out for an afternoon and filmed a movie of it,
Like for you too.
I would believe
No,
that this is
don't-
what
Don't discount the vocals. Do not discount the vocals. The vocals are fucking good.
I didn't
Judas
say
is-
they recorded the
Judas
vocals. I
is
said if they
great.
took the record and went out to lip sync their own music video to it from the School of Summer Theater Camp acting chops, this is what
We're
you
evaluating
would
it
get.
as a film, as a concept
Yes.
album. Fine, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, great.
As a film, oh my god.
No, it's not
What
good.
happened?
It's not
I also really forgot it was a rock opera. Like, at a certain point, I was like, are they ever going to speak? And then I realized they would never talk.
No.
Can I say
No.
there is another movie adaptation of this, and it's worse.
What's the other
The one from the 90s?
Hard to believe.
Yeah, because I
Hard to
think
buy.
that this, I don't know, maybe it's just because I was used to the one from the 70s, but like, I feel like, yes, they take themselves seriously. It's more of like a recording of a stage show, but I feel like I watched it and I was like, this is not as good as the original. But that being said,
Oh my God.
I would love to hear your thoughts. I want you to go watch the 90s one and let me know.
I don't know. I've invested a lot of my life in this already. Like
Another one?
Yeah, are you serious?
I don't have another one in me right now. At least I'll be fully
We're
honest.
gonna revisit it the next time.
I do.
don't have it
It's
in
I
like, you
do
know
also-
this terrible movie you hated? What if you
Watch the first version of it.
Okay, here's what I will say. I fully believe I would like a version less that wasn't as gay. Is the other one as
Yes.
gay
No,
as this one?
the costume.
Okay,
is-
see, that's-
I don't
that
think
would be
so.
a problem.
It's been a long time since I think I watched it once. I was like, absolutely not. I'm going back to the 70s version.
Because here's the thing, this straight up is Village People. This
Oh,
is Village People in the fucking desert, right? Like that's what this is, and the campiness sort of made it okay to me. The piece that I thought was funny was just how many times I was like, is Jesus the villain in this movie? Like,
Yes.
I straight up don't understand what's happening anymore.
I mean, if
Like,
there was something I genuinely found compelling about the film, it's telling the story from Judas's perspective. We love a villain rehab. I mean, that's Wicked, right? That's like a really cool angle. And I did really, I mean, the best song in it is I Don't Know How to Love Him. And so just when you think the movie can't possibly get any gayer, when Judas sings it, I was pretty shook. Like that was really compelling to me.
There's a number of there was I know there's one scene where I straight up wrote in my notes, I was like, this is so Gelphie. Like this is what's happening right now.
Mhm.
Best friend,
It's a
rival.
whole lot.
He
I
says,
do feel like,
Judas, must you betray me with a kiss?
Yes.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, is from the Bible, correct?
But
The Bible's
that's
gay,
the
though.
scene, I
Bible's very
believe.
gay.
The Bible.
Yeah.
I think that's our whole
I think
podcast,
you can-
no?
Gay source text,
Yes.
gay adaptation.
I think you can just straight up, cite Jesus Christ Superstar. Like, I don't think you need to go to the Bible. That's fine.
You're correct. Sorry.
That's how I
line
see
is from
doing
Jesus Christ
it.
Superstar.
It's from, as we know from Jesus Christ Superstar, he betrays him with a kiss.
Leigh,
Yeah.
but that is actually what I do on the podcast frequently. I think that's why Alyse suggested
I feel
this.
like this must trigger Alyse in the same way that like students like citing Wikipedia would, like.
That's an interesting. Yeah, it's like I kind of like that lens though, because like one of the key questions of the season is like, how accurate are these pop culture portrayals of Jesus that you see? And like this one was pretty accurate, actually. Like, so yeah, Lisa's like not, she, like a lot of the times when she's chiming in, she's like, that's literally what's in the movie. And I'm like, good for them. They're being like historically accurate. They filmed it in the Holy Lands. They filmed that shit. That's why they have all those cross dissolves of people in the desert, because they're like, we're going to show you this shot all the time because we paid so much money for it. And weren't there like men shooting guns at them at one point in the production?
Mm-hmm. There's tanks.
Oh, like when they filmed it?
Yeah, like literally when they filmed it, there were like war, like there was like the Israel-Palestine war is going on, and when they started shooting, they were shooting in like all over Israel and Palestine, and then it says that production moved to the West Bank, which had been occupied by Israel following the Six-Day War in 1967. They were filming this in 1972, and then there's a quote from the choreographer who says, "People with machine guns came over the hill pointing at us." And and so they had to change their location shoot again for this. It's like they were under threat or something.
I'm
Crazy.
just now learning that it was filmed in Israel, Palestine.
Yeah.
I actually never looked into it because,
In
again,
Palestine.
I've been watching this movie my entire life.
Yeah.
I never thought about it. And I don't really know why they needed to do all that. They probably could have just gone
They could have gone like Mexico.
I also,
anywhere.
I think it's very funny to have taken the time to fly out to like Israel and Palestine to film this and still basically cast one black person and make him Judas. Just a really
Yeah, it's awkward.
brave move of them.
Yeah.
It's a little much. It's a little, but like literally the opening note I took in this movie just says Black Judas. Yikes.
Oh, and the whole like song about the Jew, like the whole song about like the Jews, and like from the like you know,
Like
that King Herod does not
Herod.
age well into the year of
Holy
our Lord
shit.
2025.
Yeah, that was
Let's
rough.
put it that way.
That was rough.
Yeah.
It got a lot of criticism for that, though. I did do a little bit of a Wikipedia glance, mostly because I was just looking for what the Pope said. And
Of course.
also, I was seeing if any of the original cast were in it, which
How did the Pope feel about the flogging scene? That's all I want to know. And if you don't have the answer, we can just end the episode.
we can end it. We don't have an answer. But Mary and Pilot, by the way, were both in the original Broadway, or the original concept album recording, which the one I have on vinyl, just in case you wanted to know. But apparently,
I was wondering, yeah.
Yeah. I know you've been wondering about it. Apparently, the Jews, there was it calls about anti-Semitism because of the portrayal of the Jews in the film. So
Yeah, because he's horrifically offensive
Yeah.
in every possible way.
yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
When
Other
Hamilton came out, my dad was really offended because he thought that the King's songs were like a full-on copy of King Herod's song.
Your dad was just offended about like what he perceived as like plagiarism.
Yeah, he was like, they so copied that from Jesus Christ.
That's
He's
amazing.
like,
Yeah, Lin-Manuel, what a hack, right? I mean, am I right?
You could actually make a lot of comparisons between the two. I've thought about it a lot because they are both kind of like genre changing operas, right? Like Jesus Christ Superstar is kind of like the Hamilton of the 70s.
Wow.
I take it back. Take it back.
You're right.
I'm not wrong.
I also was wondering how much overlap there is with like Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Is that the same? I haven't seen that either. Is that the same? Is similar vibe?
Is Joseph, that's Andrew Lloyd Webber too, right? Or is that Godspell?
Godspell's Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Tim Rice.
I don't know about Joseph and the
Tim Rice.
Technicolor Dreamcoat. Tim
Oh,
Rice
no, it
wrote,
is Andrew
Jesus
Lloyd
Christ
Webber.
Superstar, no?
It is.
Isn't Tim Rice his
Joseph
writing
is?
partner for
Yeah.
both?
He
Joseph is.
loves a biblical reference.
I actually am really not a fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber except
Then
for
maybe
Jesus
I'm
Christ
getting them
Superstar
confused too.
and Phantom a little bit, but other than that, I don't really rate him.
No, but Godspell was also Andrew Lloyd Webber, right?
No, I thought one of them
No.
was not him.
Then am I thinking of? Oh, it's Stephen Schwartz. Okay.
So is Andrew
Sorry,
Lloyd
then I am
Webber
thinking of
like
Joseph,
devoutly Christian? Like, is he? Is he a religious person?
Yeah, but I mean, maybe he just looked at it and was like, "That's a cool story."
It is a cool story. It's classic.
Yeah, I feel like I
But
can't
also
imagine he
Jesus
was
Christ Superstar Jesus Christ Superstar is different. Music was separate from lyrics.
What do you mean?
Like one person didn't write music and lyrics, it was split.
Yeah, but I think it's the same for both.
Yeah.
It's Tim Rice for both.
Tim Rice and it's the same team. Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice did both.
Wait, which one did they do first?
Couldn't tell you.
That's a good
You're all
question.
on
Find
Google. Tell
out.
That's a
me.
good question.
What year was Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat?
Let's see. Joseph was in 1968.
Oh, so this is based on the success of Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. They were like, this God thing is really working.
He
Let's
started
do
with the
another
Old
one.
Testament, right? And then he like leveled up to the New Testament. He was like, okay, that's going all right.
And what I want to know is
And
where is
then
the
he went
Quran
to
story?
Cats.
Oh, then he did Cats? Damn.
No, I don't know the timeline, but I feel like it's a natural
And then he was like,
progression.
fuck Jesus. I actually want dancing cats.
It makes sense. You know?
He was like, you know what? Jesus Christ Superstar wasn't as gay as I can get. Let's do one further.
Cats
It's
and
dancing cats.
leotards, yes.
Okay, wait. We have gotten so
Wait, can I
Because
wait,
this
before
movie
we
is
come
wild.
back before we come back from this tangent, I need to say one thing about Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat and how it's gay. Even though I've never seen it, I have read the original story of Joseph and the Coat of Many Colors from the Old Testament. And for our season of the podcast, I interviewed a queer theologian who said that there are people who read that story where Joseph's father gives him this, like, it's called a coat of many colors, but there's also a translation of it that's closer to princess dress or rainbow colored dress, which suggests like a gender non-conforming identity for Joseph. Because the thing is, as soon as Joseph's father in the Bible gives Joseph that coat, his brothers are like, time to murder him. And the traditional interpretation is that that's because they were like super jealous, but it could also be that they were like rejecting his gender expression in some way. So there's like, yeah, there's like translation stuff here that could be super queer.
I love that Joseph was the OG princess boy.
I know,
That's
right?
Mhm.
great. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, now we have to get into the gay.
Can we get back to our gay boys?
Yes.
Yeah, please. Let's take a hot break and come back and talk about Jesus and Judas, our favorite gay boys.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states. There are many ways to entice a potential new customer with flashy branding and calculated marketing strategies. But at the end of the day, the success of a business comes down to the ability to close the sale. And for businesses like Thrive Cosmetics, Allbirds, or Skims, it's what goes on behind the scenes, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple that makes the difference. For them and for millions of businesses, that difference is made with Shopify. Businesses that want to grow, grow with Shopify. Because if your goal is growth, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And Shopify will make sure you're ready. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And with Shop Pay, they boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. It's no wonder Shopify is home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/realm.
Have you heard of Olivia, the travel company for lesbians and LGBTQ+ women? You know what they say, life is short and the world is wide. And when you're a lesbian or LGBTQ+ woman, you want to be able to go on vacation, have some fun, feel safe, and be yourself. Olivia Travel creates full takeovers of their cruise, resort, riverboat, and adventure vacations so you can kiss who you want to kiss without a care in the world in your own safe space. Olivia also provides the entertainment, bringing comedians and musicians from within your community. Traveling by yourself? No problem. Olivia has a robust solos program so you can travel alone, together, single, coupled up, or in a group. You'll meet amazing LGBTQ plus women who come from all walks of life, yet have so much in common. Join the thousands of Olivians who travel to bucket list destinations all over the world. It's life-changing to be in the majority on your own vacation. Discover Olivia for yourself at olivia.com today.
Lez Hang Out.
Hey folks, we're the hosts of Comic Sans, the podcast about comics for those who are sans knowledge. I'm Yen.
And I'm Nat. Comic Sans is a show for people who are new to comics, like me.
And people who love them, like me. I make Nat read some of my favorite works in the medium, including Saga, Daredevil, and The Flintstones.
And Yan talks about what makes that comic special.
We've just launched Season 3 of Comic Sans with new episodes every 2 weeks.
And you can binge the first 2 seasons wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, fellow TV watchers? It's Brian from The Core Podcast, where we cover all things Apple TV+. We are wrapping up our recaps of Emmy favorite Severance, but 2025 on Apple TV Plus is just getting started. In April and May, The Core is recapping Seth Rogen's new Hollywood satire, The Studio, and Jon Hamm's dark comedy, Your Friends and Neighbors. We'll also be recapping the first 2 seasons of Apple's sci-fi thriller, Foundation, heading into the 3rd season of that later this year. Search for The Core, all things Apple TV Plus, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
I don't even know where to start. It's so gay.
Well, do we want to start with Judas? Do we want to start with Jesus? Do we want to start with the Pharisees? Like, there's options ahead. We just got endless options.
I think Judas.
Start with Judas?
Yes. Thoughts on Judas, everyone?
I mean, what a voice.
I actually really liked this performance. Like, very sincerely, I thought that he's just in all the ways that Jesus is super boring in this movie, Judas is super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's interesting to me that Judas, this whole movie, the only thing that I find curious while we're talking about the high biblical accuracy of this film, what I think is interesting is a lot of Judas's songs kind of feel like he thinks Jesus is a fraud.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that really fascinating because it kind of feels like he's like, you're hot and beautiful and I want to touch your face, but also could you please stop making such a big deal about how you're God? Because people are going to start believing you. And I find that a very interesting take personally.
No, okay, well, here's what I'm going to say about what you are saying, Leigh. I feel like from the beginning, right, it is giving X's, right? So like Judas is like, I was there for you from the beginning. I was your person. And now you got all this attention from all these other people and from Mary Magdalene. And like, you think you're building your britches up. And he's like, I loved you. I thought you were the best. I do think you are an amazing person. But like, your head got too big.
Yeah.
And now I'm scared.
But that's what I think is weird is he keeps being like, why are you letting all this go to your head? Like, why can't you just keep saying some of the cool shit you've been saying? Like, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, but now you're like becoming such a big deal and like everyone's gonna believe that you actually think you're God and like cut it out.
Well, it's like the point, but that's what's interesting about the movie, right? It's like Jesus Christ as a celebrity, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a superstar. Like it's like the celebrity of Jesus more so than like, is he really the Son of God?
And the thing about Judas in this movie is that he's representing a couple of different stories from the Bible of basically at different points, all of the, many of the disciples and the people who follow him are expressing doubt over him. So like Peter is the one who Jesus tells him like, before the rooster crows tonight, you're going to deny 3 times that you ever knew me. That's Peter in the New Testament. And there's doubting Thomas, who's the apostle, who's like, unless I see the stigmata on his hands, I'll never believe that it's really him. And then the perfume thing where everyone's trying to like give Jesus a pedicure. And Judas is like, what if you spent this money? Sorry, Kay. What if you spent this money on the poor? That in the scripture is not Judas. It's Judas is just the guy who sells him out for money in the right. So like, I think it's really interesting how the movie is like kind of conflating or combining into one character the many people surrounding him who had their doubts and their problems with his ministry.
You've just destroyed me on that. I thought Judas said all of those
She was ready to tell you that you're wrong because it's in Jesus Christ.
I remember that now. No, I will say, like, it's interesting. I often think about where I got like my political sensibilities from, and I think it's from so many things. And I always think about that, like the pedicure thing, where he's like, you know, why shouldn't it have been saved for the poor? And you're like, yes, Judas has a point, but like Jesus also has a point. And like I think that in this particular climate at the moment, that's also like a very interesting conversation, because you have people who are like on like Blue Sky being like, look at my cat, and then people going in the comments being like, how dare you share a picture of your cat right now? You should be 24/7 like upset and like in like, I don't know, using your platform 100% for like not joy. And it's like, we do need to still find our like little stupid pleasures also. Like there will be like suffering, and like, you know, that's a whole other conversation, but like there's still going to be suffering and we cannot control it. And so like have your little pleasures, I guess.
So Jesus.
Judas's influencer
The way all three
boyfriend
of you
is so
sat
right
at the same time was actually kind of beautiful. Continue.
Listen, I think Judas's influencer boyfriend is so right. There's always going to be pathetic, sad, poor people, and we should have our little treats, okay? You're so right.
I think it is a little different in the case
The
of
way
Jesus.
he says it is
probably.
wild, though. Like, it is, it is wild.
There's always going to be sad, gross, poor people around, okay?
I do want to say that's literally in the scripture. Mark 14, you will always have poor people with you, but you will not always have me. And
he doesn't say pathetically.
Yeah,
he says
pathetically struggling.
Pathetic was rough. The pathetic is giving like...
He said there will be poor always pathetically struggling is what he says specifically.
And then
in
the scripture, it's immediately after that story that Judas goes and sells him out. So it does, like, in the placement of it looks really, but yeah, like, I don't know, in the scripture, it kind of feels like it's almost like they're all getting on her case because they're like trying to mansplain the right way to be around Jesus. Like, you know, oh, don't do this girly stuff. Like, you know, don't do this. Like, it even says
Jesus
like,
doesn't need a pedicure.
Yeah, it says they found fault with the woman. And then Jesus is like, lay off of her. She did what she could. Like, it almost feels like he's like being a feminist in that moment. Like, if this is what she wants to do, then just like let her have time with me. Like, don't
being a feminist for
his like they're trying to gatekeep him,
wife.
you know?
Let her cook for me.
Yeah.
just back off, okay?
Just let her make me dinner.
And listen, let me tell you who wants to police Mary's interactions with Jesus most of all.
Yes.
Judas, who every time she comes near him is like, fuck no, bitch.
I love how too
he's
like, I don't care that you're a prostitute, but like, I just care that you're with Jesus. Like, he's mine.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
Judas is famously pro-sex worker.
Yes.
Just anti anybody else being with Jesus.
Exactly. He's like, I don't care what you do, just don't fuck my man.
Like,
that's it.
And also, nobody, the second most person who wants to tell Mary how to interact with Jesus is Jesus, who at the end of that song too is also just like, get away. Like, I don't know. He's just throwing a lot of people off of him this whole movie. Like, he's
a wanted man.
I just feel like there's something very funny about the Pope approving of a movie that my take watching it was like, why is Jesus such a whiny little bitch in this? Like, I don't understand. He's
one thing I do appreciate about Jesus. One thing I do appreciate Jesus throwing is tables. And that's what I'll say on that.
And tantrums.
Be gay, do crimes.
It's
tables.
great. He was destroying that market. You know, he was destroying capitalism.
Yes,
I think about that as I think about that a lot.
That's a moral good.
And like anti-imperialist, right? Like, he's mad at Rome.
Yeah.
He's mad at the Roman authority. So like when he marches in on the donkey for like the Palm Sunday moment, he's very much saying like that's how the like Roman Empire Caesar would have marched in after winning a war. And so here's Jesus literally steals a donkey, right? And then like just marches in and is like, it's all about me. Like, it's like this satire almost. It's like this drag performance of the Roman emperor.
One of my favorite parts of that is when they say, will you die for me?
Yeah.
And they freeze on his face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just looking. Sorry.
It's for sure all drag, because I also think this is 100% drag Jesus. Like, there's no way, because he's a straight up influencer.
Yeah.
Like, he is 100%. And And all of the scenes where he's like, no, well, no one's gonna stay up with me. No one's gonna like, no one wants to hang out a little bit. No one wants to like spend my last night with me. You're all just gonna sleep. Okay, cool, guys. Okay, fine. He's like,
I think one of the reasons maybe why the Pope would like a movie like this is that it does, humanize him in a way that probably a lot of people who were raised in the church, see him as like the Son of God. He's untouchable, right? But what makes the story good is that, like according to the Christian faith, like he was sent to embody human form. So to experience all the loneliness of being a human and having your friends let you down, right? Or like that feeling that he's being pulled in all these directions and he just wants space. He just wants people to leave him alone. When we've made him, literally, we consume him at communion. Like we consume Jesus. And so I do think that's cool that like we get to see him just sort of like struggling,
I would agree if it was less campy, but the problem is the campiness
You think it's
makes
too gay
it
for you?
so... No, it's not. It either needs to be gayer.
Gayer? Wait, I'm sorry. You want this particular thing to be gayer?
How could you make it gayer?
You did watch the King Herod
Caiaphas
scene,
straight
right?
up topping anise, and that's it.
I'm
okay?
sure there's a
Like,
version out there. If you look hard enough, you could.
The version's almost
Jesus
in
Christ.
this.
Super hard.
Give it to me now. Listen, there's one song, I can't remember which one. Oh no, I do, because it was during the he is dangerous, right? Like that whole song. There's a part where Anna straight up says Caiaphas, and I was like, okay, Caiaphas and anus. Like, are we trying any less hard to make this the porn parody? Like, quite honestly,
yeah.
I mean,
in the
Caiaphas is a full leather daddy, and I forgot that you
Yes.
come in on the first scene with his leather harness and his ridiculous butt plug hat, and like, and his legs are like fully just like open, and you're just like, oh damn, yeah, this movie's so gay.
Yes. Yes. It is.
It's
oh my god,
so gay.
it's so much. It's so
so
much.
gay. I just can't even with how gay it is. I was gonna say, if we want to go back to the Last Supper, do we feel as though there's some like homoerotic undertones to Jesus being like, "Eat me"?
Yes, 100% yes.
He's like,
if you could just eat me and then drink of my body, it's a little gay.
Well,
I'm
it's
just
also, if you
saying.
think of the lyrics of the actual song, he says, "For all you care, this wine could be my blood. For all you care, this bread could be my body." If that's not something you would hear at like a gay fucking dinner. I have been at a birthday
Whiny
dinner.
ass bitch.
Right? But I have actually been at a birthday dinner where I was the only woman in a table of gay men. And like, this is exactly the kind of drama that would go down. And so I'm just there on the side being like, I don't know how I'm here, but I'm just going to watch it all happen.
That's the thing, really.
you are
is, like,
Mary Magdalene.
when you have like 13 bestie boyfriends who are working on this like political group project together, like there's always going to be drama and gossip and shit talk, right? Like, it's just, oh my god. And you add a girl.
This
into
is
the
literally
mix.
the kind of thing that you would hear at gay brunch. You would just be there and you would just be like, oh my
For
god,
all you
do
guys,
you know
for all
what
you guys
happened?
care.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly that. Like, for all you care.
Like, you don't even care. Like, you don't even care. This could just be like my body, and you don't even care.
Yeah,
and I do
exactly.
think that, like, okay, so in the, like, I could speak just a little bit to, like, religious poetry, because that's what everyone wants to hear about right now, I'm sure. But, like,
We've been waiting.
Just like we're saying. Just like we're saying, Alyse.
There
Yeah.
are a lot of, like, poems by priests that are about their fervent love for God that sound quite erotic, like sexually erotic, right? So this idea of like consumption of the, one of my favorite is a sonnet by John Donne, and it's basically it's kind of like about having sex with God. It's like, batter my heart. At the end it says, take me to you, imprison me, for I, except you enthrall me, never shall be free, nor ever chaste, except you ravish me. So it's like literally like,
that sounds like a Sappho poem.
Yeah.
Just to bring it back. But I do feel like oftentimes I would be singing hymns at church and I would be like, this song is really gay for Jesus.
Well,
like,
you
I feel
add
like so
in
many
bed
hymns are.
to the end of any hymn line. It's always funny. Yeah.
Touch me, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes!
I mean,
Jesus, I'm
listen.
with you. touch me. Yeah.
I mean, it's also just like a whole bunch of village people, Twinkie boys, like dancing around the desert singing touch me, Jesus. Like they are full on flailing around. They are so excited. And I swear that dude at the end of that song, like he straight up nuts.
Like whatever is happening with his face. That is a sexual experience.
Is having an orgasm. And I wish I could say that was the only time in this movie that is the case. And it is not. It is not the case, okay? You watch a lot of male orgasms in this movie. Once again, questioning, are we watching the porn parody or not? It's unclear to me. It's not. I don't think there's a good answer.
No.
What a cool thing for queerness to like, for us to, for like our people to like bring to like religion and the encounters with the divine, like this like blurriness around eroticism and joy and euphoria and like manically fervent excitement. Like, yay! Like religion is so much better when it's queer, right? Like this movie proves it.
Yes.
I'm so proud of us.
I also,
guys,
I just want you to know, Alyse, how much I admire your ability to take no matter what crazy ass shit we say and make it sound like we're still having an academic discussion.
I was just thinking the same thing.
We're like, this man straight up nutted in this song about Jesus touching him. And you're like, how beautiful blurry religion is.
Dude, this is the whole point.
And
I'm very sincere and I'm very nerdy.
Much. I know, and I'm so here for it.
So
I want you to know I am in no way being sarcastic. I mean it so seriously.
We're a good team, guys. We're a good team.
It's so funny. I do have to say, like, as we're getting closer to the end of this, if we don't really do a deep dive into I Don't Know How to Love Him, like, there's...
Yes, please.
So
please.
I feel like, Lisa, you know all the lyrics. What's gay about that song to you?
I mean, I was watching it with different eyes this time because I was thinking like maybe Mary's singing it like, so Mary and Judas both sing it. Mary's singing it like, what does this man want from me? And the answer is that he wants you to be another man, and like you can't, like, you know, like
you can't,
it's Mary like singing like frustrated, like, what am I doing wrong here? And honey, it's not your fault. And then the Judas
every
reprise,
straight girl who's ever fallen in love with a gay guy.
Yes, right. Yeah. And then the Judas reprise. Oof.
Okay, wait. Before we get to the reprise, because I have more thoughts on the Mary version. I also think it's funny to sing like, but also if he said he loved me back, like I just couldn't cope with that because I'm like, even you know, right? Like even you know. That'd be wrong. She'd be like, what? She's like, I love him, but like he should be with a man, right? She's like, I don't think I could deal with it if he was all of a sudden like, no, I'm straight. Like incorrect. And she knows it. She knows it's wrong.
Yeah, she likes the like, okay, I don't actually have to deal with him being straight.
So yes, 100%. Also, the fact that I also sang that as an audition song just makes it feel gay to me. So yes, correct.
Leigh, you do not know how to love any man.
Song.
No.
As a,
this is a different perspective again.
So sorry,
you do not know how to love him.
I know exactly what you're gonna do. Just do it.
I don't know how to love him. I don't know. I don't know how. Why doesn't she know how? She's a woman. She doesn't know how, Ellie. She doesn't know how to love him.
She can't do it.
I don't know how to love him.
No. During our Wicked episode, Leigh just kept saying, I'm not that girl.
I'm not that girl.
I'm not that girl.
Nothing.
Listen to the lyrics of the song, Ellie. I don't know how to love him. I don't know.
That's it.
I don't know what to say to move him. I don't know.
One thing that has actually, if we can move to Wicked for 1 second, one thing that has really upset me about the first part coming out, like the only thing, because I love that movie so much. I watched it like every day for weeks and people thought I was going crazy and maybe I was. But I feel like people aren't putting enough, like people really seem to like not rate I'm Not That Girl. And I'm just like, that is one of my favorite songs of the musical and it is not getting love.
I agree.
Thank you. I'm glad. That's all I wanted to be seen.
Also the gayest song in the musical, so correct.
Maybe that's why I liked it.
Yeah, when I was younger, I would like, you know, like those songs that you just like sing as you're looking out the window of a car and like there's rain coming down. Like that was my song.
Yeah, it's such a good song. And people are like, I saw these people like rating songs from the musical and it was always like way lower than it should be. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why are you disrespecting that song?
It's because they don't understand it like Leigh does.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that there's always the I want song.
I can help them.
Like every musical has an I want song, right? Isn't that kind of the thing?
Yes.
And so when it's tinged with this feeling, like you can want something, and usually it's like, I want this person, but they don't want me back, or like, I want to be, this, or I want to be a wizard or a witch or whatever. Like, but that I'm Not That Girl is filled with so much yearning tinged with like vulnerability around inadequacy and things like that. And I get that same vibe from I Don't Know How to Love Him. It's not I love him and he doesn't love me back. It's much more complicated. It's like, I'm not capable of loving this person because he's either gay or maybe the son of God or both, or like he's divine. And it's really complicated.
Once again, Alyse makes us
Don't
sound
you
smart.
hate
Right.
when the crush you have on a gay dude is like he's also the son of
It's
God?
so
It's
hard.
annoying.
So
It's
complicated.
really-
It's so hard.
But I also, in watching this movie now, and hearing that song, I did feel really sad thinking about all the queer people who were brought up in religious households and being asked to love Jesus as fervently as they could, and to ask to love Jesus more and love Jesus more and love Jesus more. And here they are. They were sitting there growing up thinking, I don't know how to love him. Like, he doesn't love me. Like, I'm gay, So I definitely felt, not to bring it down, but yeah, it bumped me up.
God
No,
damn it,
that's so
Alyse. Why do you have to
sweet,
give us goosebumps when we're talking about
We're trying to
movie?
be silly.
I don't have it in me. I have to analyze.
Alyse, you're gonna make me cry. But no, you're so
You know what
right.
I mean, though? It's
and
so
that's probably why the
sad.
Pope loved it, because the Pope was like, gay people will watch this and be like, it's okay to be gay.
the Pope was like, I also have a gay crush on Jesus, and it's complicated.
Don't we all?
Don't
we all?
It's so complicated.
So complicated.
Touch me, touch me, Jesus. I just.
I also like when I got to that, like, I know we were talking about how problematic the King Herod song is, but also like he quite literally is at a gay pool party.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
What?
I'm a big
He's
fan
at
of
a
his
gay
belly.
pool party with two little gay Twinkie mime
Mhm.
boys in like blonde wigs and like mime face paint. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
I
there.
love the Herod song always. It's always one of my
It's-
favorites. I love the finger dancing. And the best part is that they're all doing it, but then in the front of the camera like this, there's like a finger in front of the camera doing this.
Who do you think that finger is? Andrew Lloyd Webber himself.
Probably
He was
that's
finger
his like
acting.
Stephen Schwartz like
Yeah, his
cameo.
cameo.
It's just his
cameo.
finger
It's
in
the
front
new
of the lens
Oscars
being
for
like,
finger acting, finger dancing.
Yes. That song is a little bit amazing though.
Just the face paint, the costumes. Like, I'm like, how did we now turn into like it's giving like the Hunger Games?
Yes. Yes.
And
100%.
I'm like, how do you feel like the Capitol is inspired by this King Herod scene?
But I mean, it's good though, right? Because it like even though we are living in a time that is like so like it's been like what 50 years, more than, and
Oh my
like I feel
God.
like that I know, but like I feel like that is kind of what that's doing, and I feel like even like his like belly and like all the dances around it, they're all very glamorous, and all of that stuff is like very much like this is my opulent thing, and you are just this poor guy, and I couldn't give actually a shit about what's happening.
Mhm.
Right now, can you walk across my swimming pool? Can you turn my water into wine? I heard all these rumors about you. Prove to me that it's true, or I'm gonna like basically like send you off to be killed. So
Exactly. It is-
Mhm.
That's why I feel like we are in the late 60s, early 70s right now, and we have to make a new Jesus Christ Superstar. That's the only
we
thing
made
we can do.
Hamilton like a few
we
years
really
ago.
should.
The only thing we can do.
Oh, you mean a new movie of the Jesus Christ Superstar, not a
Yes.
not a new like different genre. I mean, so we've had
No,
a
no, no.
rock opera,
Exactly.
and we've had a hip hop
exactly
opera.
Jesus Christ. Exactly Jesus Christ Superstar.
Okay, but can I ask
with-
a serious question? It's not serious, but we had a rock opera, we had a hip hop opera. What do you think the next like groundbreaking genre bending opera is going to be? Which genre?
EDM.
Wow.
Wow.
Have we not had one? I guess not.
I don't think so. I think Broadway's scared of electronic music. They're scared. They don't. It's not a revered art form.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Are
just
you
gonna
gonna
be
write it? Is that what you're telling me?
DJs? It's gonna be DJs on stage No,
Okay.
and then maybe interpretive dancers, but nobody's singing.
Wow.
A musical with no vocals. It's
Exactly.
revolutionary.
Exactly.
About Jesus, right? Is it going to be about Jesus too?
Exactly.
A different historical story.
I feel like we can workshop this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, are we going to start another podcast?
I can't handle it.
Guys, I have a headache.
I can't.
Someone
do
made
it,
me watch
please.
Jesus Christ Superstar. I can't handle this right now.
Oh God.
This is Sappho the musical. It's just EDM.
No.
Do you know my favorite Jesus story that wasn't in the movie is when Jesus is at this wedding and they run out of wine. This is actually in the Bible. They run out of wine. You guys know this one? They run out of wine at this wedding. And Jesus' mom, Mary, as in the Virgin Mary, is like elbowing him on the table and she's like, hey, they need more wine and you kind of have this thing you can do where you turn water into wine, right?
Was it Mary or King Herod?
Can you do it? And he gets so pissed at her. He goes, woman. He calls her woman. And he's like, woman, let me be. And the other thing is, since she's like 15 when she had him, she's like, you know, our age. And she's dealing with her adult son being a fucking shit.
As he is through most of this movie, sure. Yes.
So anyway, yeah, he's not even fun at parties. He won't even turn the wine to
Guys,
water
it is
into
hard to have teenage parents. I'm
Gets
gonna
mad at his
say.
mom.
I just really think I feel like I'm onto something with the thing that like he's his influencer boyfriend because he's very needy, he's very whiny, he's very, you know how influencers sort of like start little influencer crowd like friend groups, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm also thinking back to that Last Supper scene where like they all angled for the shot, you know, but like they're not they're not sitting in a way that you could actually have like a human conversation. They're all like camera center, everyone best side forward.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah.
Everyone angle out. Okay. Like what are they doing?
This
there?
is really funny to me because I just watched Apple Cider Vinegar. I just feel like did
It's
anybody
exactly
watch
the
Apple
same.
Cider Vinegar?
No, but I've heard of it.
And her whole thing is that she's like, oh my God, I'm having a stroke. And like, she's not. And she does have like just this stable boyfriend who's just like along with her for everything. And actually, I didn't even think about how that's very similar to the story of Jesus. You've given me a lot to think about.
You're making me think about them like posing for the Last Supper, but someone has to like put their camera on like the timer to get the shot so they can set it up. Because it's like too big to do a selfie. So you have to like set up the thing on the thing and then press timer.
I just feel like if you wanted to remake, like if you did want to make like a modernized remake of Jesus Christ Superstar, I think you make him an influencer, right? Because can't you just picture Jesus Christ Superstar where it's like Jesus in the garden being like, I'm just so upset, God, hold on, front-facing camera video of me crying, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but now you have to make it, Leigh, because I want to
you've done
see
it again, Leigh. You've done it again. Damn it.
Because I need
all
to
right.
see actually influencer Jesus.
We need it.
Influencer Jesus is a whole lot. Wait, we got detoured and then we never came back to the reprise of I Don't Know How to Love Him with Judas singing
please
it.
hit us.
Because that's such a fucking choice for this musical to make, to have an entire love song and then be like, and the reprise goes to his boyfriend, obviously.
Before he kills himself.
Yeah.
So much. So
it's
much.
so good. Isn't that weird?
What?
Judas says the line like that he's scared of him, right? That really like shook me.
But I just love also that they like change some of the lyrics, you know, to like very deliberate be like, he's not the one saying he's in love with him, but I'm like, we all know how the song goes.
Mm-hmm.
You're not fooling anyone.
Mm.
You're not fooling anyone. He's a man. He's just a man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Judas.
And then he comes back
my
in
man.
that beautiful one piece
the
white outfit
suit.
with the fringe.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
No
I feel
notes
like
on that
that.
outfit.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like that is like basically saying that they're in hell. No.
I always kind of read it as like heaven.
What? Say more.
It's after he died. No, I'm saying on the gay retelling of this. It's after they both die, right? So they're supposed to be in heaven, but I'm like, I think it's gay hell.
Interesting.
I I also
Or
that
gay
whole
heaven.
scene, that whole scene with the very like 70s disco Jesus and Judas is so much also because again, here's what I think is interesting. I mean, listen, I know that we are not taking this movie, Alyse possibly aside. I know that we're not taking this movie very seriously.
It's my fate.
But I do think it's interesting for the Pope to have enjoyed a movie that, like, to me, honestly, this movie felt offensive as a Christian. Like, because there's that whole thing when I'm like, suddenly Judas, who we just watched hang himself, the like one black guy in your movie, which like also Jesus, the 70s, like get it together. But okay, so that aside, we just watched him die. Now he's out here shaking his fringe, and they have the fucking lights that are making the 3 little crosses in the sky, and they're like dancing them around. They're like swinging them side to side, and I was like, this just feels like a whole lot. And I feel like I want someone give me like a TED talk or like write me a paper about how Jesus Christ Superstar led to the televangelism prosperity gospel like bullshit takeover of the country, because I'm so sorry, but like that's what that scene is. I'm like, that is like a Baptist revival televangelist thing of like, and now we have our little like, oh, Jesus died for you, dancing crosses. I was like, what are we even doing?
I'm
here?
prepared to give you.
What is
I'm prepared to. I have some ideas.
Do it.
Okay, so first of all, I do think that. So when you ask like, why have the framing? Why have them driving out in their bus? You know, the theater troupe, and then having them pack up all their shit, right? That gives them plausible deniability on the film crew that they're like, we're not making a movie about Jesus's life. We're making a movie about people making a stage production about Jesus's life. But yeah, the like aestheticization of Christianity, right? The packaging, the like, Jesus is my boyfriend, you know, songs in contemporary Christian
white
music.
Jesus.
Whiteness.
White Jesus is my boyfriend.
Yes, and then the like the showmanship, right? That's a huge part of non-denominational evangelical megachurch culture, is that you've got pyrotechnic lights, you've got electric guitars, you've got every Sunday at an evangelical megachurch, it's Jesus Christ Superstar every day.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? So like, yes, that's the beginning of it.
Lisa,
100%.
are you going to convert now?
Lisa, I
Lisa's
just want to know,
going to
did
a
Jesus
megachurch
Christ,
so
did
she can
Jesus Christ
see Jesus
Superstar
Christ Superstar
lead to the rise of white Christian nationalism in our country? I just want you to have to sit with this question.
Country and how you took it. I personally, like, Australia is like quite an atheist country. I think we're like 65% like doesn't identify as religious in Australia, which is like quite a high number. Certainly my family, not religious. I don't know. You've given me a lot to think about. I think it's like very interesting to talk about something. I think there's like certain things that you see as a kid and that you grow up with that you kind of like take for granted, and you're like, oh, that's just like a totally normal thing. Like, of course there's a 70s movie where like Judas is in love with Jesus and they're like dancing in the desert about like, you know, it's just totally normal. And then you like get other people to engage in it and they're like, this is really weird. Like,
yeah. It's definitely there's something. It's something
great.
to watch.
So any other gay things we want to talk about before we get into ships?
I have one other important note that we didn't get to yet, which is I also need to talk about the absolute gay ass scene where Judas goes to get paid to go betray Jesus, right? And he has all of these fucking leather-clad Pharisee daddies like tossing money at him, and then he like falls down on his knees and they all gather around him in a circle in their black leather pants, topless in their capes and, and leather hats in the desert, and they all like circle around him on his knees and are like, yeah, take your money and turn in your boyfriend. And then the camera like straight up zooms in on his mouth. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
It's a lot like
it's
a lot like the scene where Jesus gets, you know, swamped by the lepers, right? Just that like that parallel showing that like it's about this like orgy of consumption, and it's very gay and very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking I was comparing it to. Yeah.
It's the same shot. It's the same shot
That's
as
what
when
they
he
call
gets swamped.
it. If you search online for a scene like that, orgy of consumption.
On certain websites, they do. Not that I've been on those.
Yeah, never seen them.
Yeah,
but I heard they exist.
Just
God. Good
Incredible.
Lord.
Yeah, I mean, this film is so gay. It's wild. It is wild. So who are we shipping?
Can I just say real quick that I like this movie so much more now after having talked about it with you guys?
Right?
I do feel like before, and now I'm like an 8. I really like
I
this
do
movie
feel
now.
like this is a movie that needs to be watched with others.
Yeah.
Like it needs watching it by yourself is a very strange experience.
So I'm shipping me and this movie. I'm shipping.
Yeah,
me and
that's
this
what I
movie.
just said. I ship you in this movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I see it. I mean, for me, it's obviously Jesus and Judas. Hashtag Judas.
Can I ship Caiaphas and King Herod?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm going to ship Caiaphas and Annas because if you try to tell me those two did not fuck actively during the filming of this movie, you're wrong.
I feel
You're
like
just straight up wrong.
that entire van is just an orgy when they leave.
I'd like to submit also, like, I like to ship Mary and the idea that there could be even one other woman in the movie.
Like with a part, because I feel like there
Not
are
passing the Bechdel
dancing
test,
women.
we're saying.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
okay.
but they don't have a part. They don't, like, you know.
The Bible doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
Wait. We need to go back to the Caiaphas Herod ship name. What do
What's
we?
their name?
Yeah.
Herefus?
Kyrod? Kyrod kind
Kyrod
of sounds like
sounds
K-Rod.
good.
I don't know how I feel about that, but Kyrod. Let's go Kyrod.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Caiaphas Annas, I'm going to say Canis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can we pronounce it
Alyse
Canis,
Christ
though?
Superstar?
Yeah,
Canis.
Can Alyse in the movie be Alyse Christ Superstar?
Yes.
Whoa. That sounds more like a sequel to me, and I like where you're headed.
Oh, wait, sorry. Ellie, I forgot one other very important gay thing I just need to mention, because I did mention that it's not the guy at the end of Touch Me Jesus is not the only guy that you watch have an orgasm in this movie. And I would also like to submit every man at the end of Jesus getting flogged. Those dudes were
turned on
into it. I think everyone got off at that scene. Like, you're watching Pilate nut, you're watching Herod nut, like everyone.
I just don't like the amount of times you're saying the word nut. Like, I just need it to stop.
Name a character in this movie who did not get off to Jesus getting flogged by that hot twink soldier. Doesn't exist.
Alyse is really
in this
thinking
movie.
about it. Seriously.
Yeah,
she's like, how could I pivot
They're
this
like
and make
biting
it
their
work?
lips. Like they're literally like full on like lip biting. Like it's so good. They're so into it. It's rough to watch. I will be fully honest. I seem to be the only one not into it on my train. Okay.
Are you sure, Leigh?
Yes. Yes, I am. I was
Listeners,
the only one having a bad time.
Leigh did not nut on the subway.
I did not.
The Romans historically were pretty sexually repressed, so I think they did get off on violence a lot, like state institutionalized violence.
See, Alyse knows the historical significance of those men nutting.
I just know it's accurate. We're talking about accuracy, and everyone they probably did all that. You know, it's accurate.
I like how you're talking about accuracy, and I need everyone to know, because I will have you know, I do not actually take notes on a lot of our movies anymore. I took a full page of notes on this, and I want you to know the last note that I wrote down while you're talking about the accuracy of it. The last note I have, it just says, "What is this song? What am I watching? What is happening?"
Yeah.
Those were my closing thoughts of the film. Okay. So similar, same experiences.
Exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Incredible. We can all agree Jesus Christ Superstar should have been gay.
Should have been gay.
Is gay.
It was gay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
so gay.
But the segment's called Should Have Been Gay.
Wrong. Inaccurate.
Oh, God. Historically, it was gay. Okay. Here we go. Q and gay.
Q and gay.
Question number 1. You can both answer. I don't know. Let's have Lisa go first. Who is gayest in this film? A, Judas, B, Jesus, C, Caiaphas, or D, anus?
Is that a trick question?
It is a trick question, but for what it's worth, to choose an answer, I am going to say Caiaphas. because leather daddy, and I feel like it's not. He's all of them because he's like the leather daddy of them all.
Yes.
Alyse?
Judas, just because he's the whole plot is around him being gay. The whole thing.
We're
Yeah, the
both
movie's
right,
really
it's the
all about
best.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, question 2. We'll switch, and Alyse, you go first. Did this movie make you Christian or atheist?
There's no other response.
There's only 2 choices.
Only 2 choices.
It made me. It made me many things.
Yeah.
I guess I'll choose Christian.
You're still Christian after watching it.
I'm still Christian. I haven't been moved.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Listen, I am too, just a little less than I was before. That's all. It's fine.
Great.
Lisa, did it convert you?
No,
Get an answer.
I have not been converted to Christianity from this film.
Damn it.
I'm sorry
Maybe you need to watch it again.
all.
Are you sure you watched it? Are you sure you saw
We
it?
were counting
Watch
on
it again.
this. This was our plan.
The
all
way
along.
that if we started singing the first song right now, I could sing you through to the end. I think I've seen it.
This is an
enough.
intervention, Lisa.
Although I will say, I'm gonna say I can sing from the beginning to the end. The original concept album, "Could We Start Again, Please," was not in the concept album. I do still know it, but I don't know it as well.
It's okay. We're not going to test you.
I thought that was what
Wow, so
after
next
this.
time, if anyone is a real fan of Jesus Christ Superstar and wants to come on,
Yeah. You're literally giving us a multiple choice test right now. So
yeah.
All right, here we go. Question number 3. What were you the least prepared for? A, the butt plug hats. B, the tight purple tank top. C, is it how do you actually pronounce it?
Annis.
C, Annis's voice. Or D, Herod's mime voice. Lisa, you can answer even though I don't know what least prepared will be for you since you've seen it so many times.
Think back to little
The first
toddler
time,
Lisa.
what was most surprising to you?
I was
Was it
most
the butt plugs?
surprised at how much Leigh and Alyse did not like this film. Secret fifth choice.
It's rude.
I will say, you have to take a completely separate take on how much I enjoyed watching the campiness of it versus how offensive I find this version of Jesus. That's all. They're different things.
Fair.
Alyse?
for sure the hats. Without a doubt. The hats. There's no way to.
I feel
nothing can prepare you.
I feel like a lot of costume designers in Hollywood like a butt plug.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really popular shape apparently.
Yeah.
And you mean
I
with
didn't know.
Hollywood costume designers? Probably.
In the 70s?
And then there's
just costume designers going like, what should I make this hat look like? Looking around their room. I know.
And we have no
I will say.
idea. We have no idea all the things they're wearing that we don't know about, that we can't see.
So
true.
True. Oh my god, I need to watch it again and picture everyone with a butt plug the entire
Okay, I will say
the only way
though,
they can sing that high.
To be fair, because I didn't know what a butt plug was when I used to watch it, and because I'd seen it so many times and probably not carefully watching it, I don't think I'd ever really thought about the butt plug element. Like now, like when I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, I was like, oh wow, that trophy's a butt plug. And I was like, that paid off really well. But like, I don't think I thought about it being a butt plug until this episode watch, because I was looking for gay and I was rewarded.
Personally, I just think everyone should be on the lookout for butt plugs at all times.
I guess you're probably right.
Like,
And I'm glad
it's a gay
I'm
where's
glad we are
Waldo?
able to remind people it's a gay word.
Yeah, you really don't want to be caught surprised by that. Like it's, you want to be prepared.
That's so true.
So it is good to keep a lookout.
We're out here doing the Lord's work.
Around
I
every
think.
corner,
It's
there could be a
real.
butt plug.
Thank God.
Question 4, important question. What is the worst word for the male orgasm? Out of A, nut, B, bust, C, blow, or D, sploosh?
It's nut.
No, it's not.
And the reason I know is because of recent trauma I've experienced on this very call.
20
On
minutes.
this very call.
No.
Like I know from having it aggressively said at me 12 times, this
you're like writing a dissertation about this movie, and Leigh's like, but what about the nut?
Okay, as the only person.
I'm just gonna say, maybe if these men would stop nutting in this movie, I wouldn't have to bring it up, okay?
If anyone's
You're right.
doing a
It's not
drinking
on
game
you.
for this,
It's
I'm
not on
sorry
you.
you're dead.
This isn't your battle to fight.
Sorry, Lisa. What do you think?
God.
I mean, I'm going to agree with Alyse, but I am going to say, as the only person on this call who has sex with men, like, ever, I, as a bisexual, as a token bisexual on this podcast, I don't think I've heard anyone say not that much. In a short period of time ever.
It's very like high
Why are you
school.
talking about
It's like
it
high
so much?
school or like it's like someone who's literally never seen it happen. It's
I think the male orgasm is a myth. I think
That's 100% me.
The male orgasm is a myth, and I'll believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. And it's why do we need a word for a thing that doesn't happen?
A thing that doesn't exist. Leigh just made it up.
I desperately listen. I know we have no reason to make this happen, but I'm just gonna say if ever there was like an absolute waste of time thing to do, it would be to make Ellie re-edit this episode. No. I want
Ellie's like, I'm not
versions of
doing
this
it.
episode. I want 4 versions of this episode. One with me saying that the whole time, and then I want one where everyone else just dubs over every time I say it with what you think I should have said that would have somehow been better to listen to the whole time. It doesn't exist. They're all bad, okay? They're all gonna be bad. It's just, I was having a bad time and you're all suffering with me, okay?
Oh, God.
I don't know. Climax. Oh.
No. No.
See, Alyse has...
They're gender neutral terms, though.
Here's
I
the
feel.
thing, Alyse. I refuse to associate any positive thing with the amount of male orgasms I had to watch, okay? Nope.
And
All
it's
right,
just really not nice to feel feelings like that when you're watching someone be tortured. That's not, unless you're into it and it's consensual, but it was not in this case. It was not.
Yeah.
No.
It was not.
So.
And that's what was wrong.
You're right.
with Jesus
The
dying.
only thing
was
wrong.
the non-consensual
Non-consensual.
orgasms that all the men around him had at the time.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Anyways, did we mention this podcast is not like Sweetbitter is all the time? It's fine.
All right, here we go. Let's finish this thing. Let's finish this like those men finish themselves. All right, here we go.
Let's
Here we go. Question number 5. What is your favorite song in Jesus Christ Superstar? A, I Don't Know How to Love Him. B, This Jesus Must Die. C, King Herod's song. Or D, Gethsemane.
Or write in your own. You have free reign here.
Favorite song.
How could I choose? Like, they're all perfect songs. How could I
Lisa's
choose
like,
a
it's one
favorite?
song start to finish, and the whole thing's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's an
valid.
opera. There's no break. It's just all songs.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the opposite, which my answer is I choose the only good song in the movie, which is I Don't Know How to Love Him. Boom.
You don't even
heard
like
me.
Pilot's Dream?
What?
Shots fired. You heard me.
Pilot's Dream is a beautiful song.
I said what I said.
I'm
Damn,
upset
that
with you.
is-
I'm just going to start
don't
leaving
even
you voice notes where I just say nut.
Wait. What's the... You don't even like this, like, Jesus Christ Superstar. The big one?
The bad
Dancing
one?
Crosses. Come on, Alyse.
The song,
Come on, Dancing
the
Crosses.
song that I had to listen to that was bad? No, I don't like that song.
Oh,
You don't even like
No.
Judas
Don't
singing
listen to
Jesus.
that.
Like,
Yes.
that's amazing.
No.
Judas is
Judas-
amazing. You telling me Judas doesn't
what's
sing
the,
one good song?
What's the 3 or 4 songs that they threw in 7/4 time, right? Like, go with one of those. They like a 7/4 in this.
I the other day got like a fork stuck in my garbage disposal and it sounded about the same.
Alyse, we're not friends anymore. I'm so sorry.
Amazing.
Wow,
I'm sorry. Now I'm just trolling you guys
Yeah,
like Leigh
yeah,
was
yeah.
when she was saying nut a lot. This is my version of it.
Yeah. Oh my
Hey man,
God.
and doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel
Kinda
good
does.
to do it?
It's a nut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It
Well,
feels good.
on that note, Lisa and Alyse,
Feels good, man.
thank you so much for spending your night with us. This has been lovely. Why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you? Also, a little bit more about Sweetbitter before we log off.
Well, I mean, you are the co-host of Sweetbitter. I love how you say it like
I
you have
wanna
no
hear from you.
involvement in the podcast.
I feel like
Tell
I'll
me
fuck
more
something
about
up.
this podcast.
Tell
I
me more about
host.
this show that we've done for 3 seasons. Tell me everything. Well, specifically about season 3.
I think
because-
Alyse is the sensible one who can say it.
Because
Yeah,
why do we do
so
Jesus Christ Superstar? What's
Right.
the relevance?
Well, Sweetbitter is a podcast that investigates untold histories about queer people and women. And so for season 3, we're looking at the queer history of the Bible, and in particular, queer theologies and queer ways of interpreting the text. So we interviewed all of these really cool, amazing queer Christians, queer pastors, and other faith leaders, just for exactly why Jesus is actually a figure that would be, feminist, queer inclusive, socialist, all these
Flip
kind of
a
really
table.
cool ways to, just like gay, and reclaim that text and that religion for, a wider group of people who have been marginalized by it in the past. And then the back half, so I don't know if we're calling it season 4 or the back half of season 3. Yeah, season 4, we'll look at what we actually know about the person Mary Magdalene who shows up in the Bible. Like, was she really a sex worker? Was she really Jesus's wife? What was her role in the early church? So we have some really amazing, badass feminist religious historians who are going to be talking about her.
And so if, like me, you were made less gay by watching Jesus, or less Christian by watching Jesus Christ Superstar, you could check out season 3 of Sweetbitter, and like your chances go up for, turning that back around.
Well, yeah, Lisa, speak to it as an atheist as well.
Well, obviously, I'm not religious. I didn't grow up religious. I will say that, like, even as someone who is has been raised not religious, obviously, I've had some engagement with the text as Jesus Christ Superstar. But the accurately historical story of 2 boyfriends. But I think that regardless of whatever your relationship is with the Bible, and I understand that in the queer community that can be a little bit fraught, especially in America, that regardless of what your relationship is with the Bible, this is a historical document that is being used very hatefully towards us. And I think that arming yourself with the understanding of what is actually written in the text is something that is like it sounds like, it sounds like a small thing, but I think that like the more knowledge that you actually have of this document, which is being used as justification for walking back our rights as women and queer people, I think that's you're better off for it. So even if you're not religious, like, we're not trying to convert you. I am certainly not, but I think that, it's still important to know about.
It's just, the Bible's full of queer people, period. The Bible's full of queer characters, queer stories, queer love stories. And so to pretend like those aren't there from this text that, regardless of what your own religion is, it's an important human historical document. It's an important mythology, an important collection of stories that have been used to do a lot of damage. But we have to keep like pointing out the ways that we're there. A lot of our podcast is about telling stories that have been erased really intentionally, sometimes from history.
And where can everyone find Sweetbitter on social medias, on where can they listen, all of that?
You can find it wherever you get podcasts. You can follow. So I think we're on Blue Sky and Instagram at SweetbitterPod. You can find our website, sweetbitterpodcast.com. I am Lisa Charlotte everywhere. That's Lisa with 2 E's. Alyse, what's your best way to find you?
I'm on TikTok
Alyse has a bunch
at
of books.
Alyse Nor, and I have a website, AlyseNor.com. So in my time when I'm not podcasting, I write queer love poetry and also video game histories. So if you want to know either of those, you can check it out.
Love it. I love how ridiculous this episode was. Thank you for this.
The best.
For
Just
this.
the best.
And make sure that you listen to Sweetbitter, because really it's some really good stuff this season. Like, so interesting. And like Lisa and Alyse both said, it's like any side of the spectrum of religious experience, like, or no religious experience at all. Like, it is just so interesting to learn about all the stuff that they don't want you to know.
Mm-hmm.
We will tell you. Yes.
Incredible. Thank you both again for hanging out. Always a joy.
Oh, so nice to see you.
That was wild. We love hearing from you and building community, so we want to shout out some of our favorite things each episode. Today, I would like to shout out Maureen13 on Instagram, who commented on our last episode Aging Gayfully, where we talked about different generations and how we do different gay things. And she said, I'm intrigued. TBH, my fiance listens to the pod faithfully, and I'll admit I'm a casual listener, but I'm def checking out this one because we have a 22-year age gap between us, and we love to weigh in on this topic. I would say I have a 7-year age gap, and I'm already like, we are so far apart in terms of things. Like, I am actually really curious to hear from you, Maureen. Please tell us more. We love an age gap relationship.
Kelsey and I have a whole 8-month age gap relationship.
All right, Leigh.
And I want you to know she was giving me shit about aging. And she was like, it was like the night before my birthday and we're getting bed. And she's like, okay, like, love you, better, like, say that now before you're too old for me in the morning. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Just imagine it the other.
Same,
exactly
Maureen.
The same.
Yeah,
exactly the same.
thing.
But I am so curious
Same.
to hear your different experiences. 22 years of different gay experiences.
Right?
Is like a whole lifetime.
Yeah.
Yes.
As always, we want to thank our Lesbian Jesus patrons, Mark Foster,
Lizette Stye,
Adi Benitez,
Sophia Phillips,
and Armani Gucci.
And our King Princess patrons, Amy and Ellen.
And Andrea Doucette. Thank you all so much. We absolutely could not keep making this podcast without all of your support.
Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and TikTok at Lez Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at lezhangoutpod@gmail.com.
You can check out our website at lezhangoutpod.com.
Whatever app you use to listen to podcasts, make sure that you subscribe. That way you'll get new episodes as soon as they go up every week.
We're also posting videos on our YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe at youtube.com/lezhangoutpod to catch them.
Lez Hang Out is an independently produced show. It's hosted by us. Our audio production is done by Ellie. Our production assistant is Krista Murison. And various other podcasting shenanigans are done by me.
If you want to support the podcast, you can rate or review us on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast. It's the best way for you to let us know what you think of the show.
If you want to join our Patreon, it is the absolute best way to support us and to make sure that we can continue making this show. You get access to our Discord chat. You get access to our bonus Patreon extracurricular episodes. You can join that at bit.ly/LezPatreon.
If you want some Lez Hang Out merch, it is the perfect time to get your Pride gear ready at bit.ly/LezMerch.
Remember, we also have a queer production company making queer podcast musicals with guaranteed happy endings. You can find us everywhere at Dollar Bean Prod.
Or at our website, dollarbeanproductions.com.
And you can check out all of the episodes of our first show, The Flame, and our second show, Journey to the Heart, everywhere you listen to podcasts.
And if you want to help support us in making more musicals, you can join our Patreon at bit.ly/dollarbeanpatreon.
If you want to follow us individually, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at LSH Foster.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Ellie Brigida. With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Leigh.
And
let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Hello, I am Kristen Russo.
And I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
We are the hosts of Buffering the Vampire Slayer once more with Spoilers, a rewatch podcast covering all 144 episodes of, you guessed it, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
We are here to humbly invite you to join us for our 5th Buffy prom, which, if you can believe it, we are hosting at the actual Sunnydale High School. That's right. On April 4th and 5th, we will be descending upon the campus of Torrance High School, which was the filming location for Buffy's Sunnydale High, to dance the night away to 90s music in the iconic courtyard, to sip on punch right next to the Sunnydale High fountain, and to nerd out together in our prom best inside of the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
All information and tickets can be found at bufferingcast.com/prom. Come join us.